V.I. Lenin, People from Another World, written, January 6, 1918, first published, January 21, 1918 in Pravda number 17. Source, Lenin's Collected Works, Progress Publishers, Moscow, Volume 26, 1972, pages 431-433. Translated, Yuri Stobnikov and George Hanna, edited by George Hanna. Transcription in HTML markup, Charles Farrell and David Walters. Online version, Lenin Internet Archive. November, 2000. Friends, I have lost a day, says an old Latin tag. One cannot help but recall it when one remembers how the 5th of January was lost. After real, lively, Soviet work among workers and peasants engaged on real tasks, clearing the forest and uprooting the stumps of landowner and capitalist exploitation, we were suddenly transported to another world, to arrivals from another world, from the camp of the bourgeoisie with its willing or unwilling, conscious or unconscious champions, with its hangers-on, servants and advocates, out of the world in which the working people in their Soviet organization were conducting the struggle against the exploiters. We were transported to the world of saccharine phrases, of slick, empty declamations, of promises and more promises based, as before, on conciliation with the capitalists. It is as though history had accidentally, or by mistake, turned its clock back, and January, 1918, for a single day became May or June, 1917. It was terrible to be transported from the world of living people into the company of corpses, to breathe the odor of the dead, to hear those mummies with their empty social Louis Blanc phrases, to hear Chernov and Tsereteli, was simply intolerable. Comrade Skvortsov was right when he rapped out to the right socialist revolutionaries these 2 or 3 brief phrases, simple, common, at the same time ruthlessly cutting: between us everything is over. We are carrying the October Revolution against the bourgeoisie to its culmination. We and you are on different sides of the barricades. In reply to that came a torrent of over-smooth, empty phrases from Chernov and Tsereteli. They carefully avoided only one question, that of Soviet power, of the October Revolution. Let there be no civil war, let there be no sabotage, said Chernov, invoking the revolution in the name of the right socialist revolutionaries, and the latter who for 6 months, from June, 1917, to January, 1918, had been sleeping like corpses in their coffins, stood up and clapped furiously and persistently. It is really so easy and so pleasant to settle the problems of the revolution by an incantation. Let there be no civil war, let there be no sabotage, let everybody recognize the Constituent Assembly. In what way does that differ, in essence, from the invocation, let the workers and capitalists make peace? Not in any way. The Kalydins and Ryabrushinskys, together with their imperialist friends in all countries, will not disappear or change their policy because of the invocations of the Mili, Chernov, or because of Tsereteli's boring precepts that seem to have been taken from a misunderstood, poorly read and misinterpreted book. Either conquer the Kalydins and Ryabrushinskys or give up the revolution. Either victory over the exploiters in the Civil War, or the collapse of the revolution. Such has been the issue in all revolutions, in the English Revolution in the 17th century, in the French in the 18th century, and in the German in the 19th century. How could it be thought that the Russian Revolution in the 20th century would not face that issue? How can wolves become lambs? Tsereteli and Chernov do not show a grain of an idea, not the slightest desire to accept the fact of the class struggle that has become civil war, not by chance, not suddenly, not because of somebody's caprice or ill will, but inevitably, in the long process of revolutionary development. It was a hard, boring and irksome day in the elegant rooms of the Torda Palace, whose very aspect differs from that of Smolny approximately in the same way as elegant, but moribund bourgeois parliamentarism differs from the plain proletarian Soviet apparatus that is in many ways still disorderly and imperfect, but is living in Vittel. There, in that old world of bourgeois parliamentarism, the leaders of hostile classes and hostile groups of the bourgeoisie did their fencing. Here, in the new world of the proletarian and peasant, socialist state, the oppressed classes are making clumsy, inefficient. Manuscript breaks off at this point. Editor.